Hello, my name is Teha and welcome back to another end of the month keyboard news video. I'm honestly surprised I've managed to keep these videos up considering how infrequently I still upload, but now that you guys have hopefully seen a couple of these, let me know if you guys like the pacing of these videos. I know it's a little bit dry, but that's kind of intentional given it's just kind of meant to throw a bunch of news at you guys. So yeah, let me know if you guys like the order in which things are presented so far during the series, or just how to improve these videos in general. Once again, anyone can also make submissions for future month news, as I do have a channel on the ThicThock Discord server for submissions. Starting with the biggest news, which is also time sensitive, NovelKeys picked up the outstanding GMK sets from Mexico last month, and this month they announced that they will also be picking up the outstanding GMK sets from Project Keyboard. As it turns out, some of the GMK group buys that Project Keyboard ran were never even submitted to GMK, while some are already in production, so please read the post carefully as there are differing instructions depending on which sets you have outstanding. And you have until November 3rd to submit your emails to NovelKeys. Once again, huge kudos to NovelKeys for undertaking all these sets, as they had no obligation to do so, but if there is such a thing as a Keeb Jesus Award, I think it goes to NovelKeys this year. Okay, on to meetups. There will be several meetups happening next month in November. There will be meetups in San Jose, California, Tokyo, Japan, Richmond Heights, Missouri, Göteborg, Sweden, Ghent, Belgium, Brest, France, and Vancouver, Canada. I'm so sorry I butchered half these places. I did attend the San Jose meetup last year, so feel free to check out that vlog as it's expected to be even bigger this year, quite possibly setting another record for the largest meetup in the US. Thank you to Furion for submitting photos of the SFXMK meetup, which took place earlier this month, and feel free to browse the huge album if you are looking for some keyboard inspiration. Some of my favorite ideas were CG Buen's use of gradient blocker tiles to cover up that pesky left side column keys that you mistakenly hit for escape sometimes, the Maestro themed keyboard by Joe, and this 3D printed artisan holder that looks like a food cart. The HHKB Studio was announced this month, a new addition to the HHKB family of keyboards that many of us have come to love and adore, with some interesting changes. For one, it's not using traditional toper switches. It comes with what I'm guessing is a custom-made linear MX style switch, but it also introduces a ton of new changes. It's hot swappable, has gesture pads, and integrated mouse functions, all meant to minimize hand movements. I do believe I should be getting one to check out in the coming weeks, so I'll wait until that comes in to give my thoughts on this keyboard. Who knows, maybe I'll even make a full review video. If I may, I'd like to insert myself into the news segment for once. For those following my social media, you might have been aware that I visited GMK at the beginning of this month, along with NovelKeys. This is news for several reasons, as I don't think GMK really has ever invited content creators such as myself to tour and film inside the factory to share with the public. But yeah, I had an amazing time getting to know the people behind GMK, and I do have several videos from this trip planned for you all that I'm working on, so please make sure to subscribe and turn on the notification bell. I won't leak too much just yet, but I did get to sit down and chat with the current CEO of GMK. I mean, that in itself is pretty big news, right? I don't think 99.9% of us, or just the keyboard world in general, has ever seen the face of the CEO of GMK. Google Japan put out this troll yet funny keyboard video of a wearable keyboard that I think is worth a watch. It definitely gave me a chuckle. It technically came out in September, but it came out after I had already put out the monthly news videos, so I thought I'd include it in this month's news. I'm not too familiar with the full story of this next news part regarding the EV00 switches, as I was not a participant, but Keyspoke, formerly known as Bespoke Keys, came out with a statement fully condemning another vendor, ThicThock, who has failed to deliver on the EV00 switches to the parties involved. Whether you trust and believe ThicThock is up to you given this fact, but hopefully this isn't another exit scam brewing. Speaking of exit scams, it appears many victims of Noxary are still actively trying to file claims with the UK police and banks, unfortunately with some friendly fire. I'm not entirely sure how this happens. It could just be that the UK police is bad at reading comprehension, or that the claims being submitted are poorly written, but due to a number of reports mentioning Jay of Prototypist for trying to help out with the whole Noxery situation, the Manchester police will be paying Jay a visit. Not sure how this is the first action that the Manchester police decides to take, given the number of reports they've probably received by now, but unfortunately, this now will put a considerable amount of stress on Jay, who has to deal with this, and I don't blame Jay for not wanting to get involved any longer. Hopefully he can get this resolved quickly and put it behind him. And that's it for this month's news. No sponsor for this month, but I would like to shout out my Patreon, as I intend to stream less and potentially shift more viewers to subscribing on Patreon as opposed to Twitch. If you guys have any suggestions for rewards for patrons, please let me know down below. But one thing that I've started to do this year is send out prints of some of my photography to top tier patrons every quarter. This is the print going out this week, so if this is something that might interest you, please consider checking out the ThicThock's Patreon. That's it for this month's news, and until next time, see ya nerds.